This is the Transformers Generation Select Legacy United Autobots Stand United 5-pack featuring Jazz, Sunstreaker, Trailbreaker, Wheeljack, and the new figure Autobot Hound. I picked up this set from Robo, and for this review, we will be focusing on Autobot Hound. Let's get Hound out of packaging. And here is Legacy Hound out of the box, and you know, we've seen this mold before with the Legacy Detritus. Does the new Hound recolor make the mold look better? The colors are so cartoony, but you know what? The figure's really grown on me, and it's looking pretty good. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 13¼ centimeters tall, or about 5¼ inches tall. And for comparisons, here are a bunch of Hound figures I still have in my collection. Let's begin with the G1, Generation 1, old G1 toy Hound. This is a knockoff version, a very good knockoff version. This is the War for Cybertron Trilogy Siege Hound. Now, we've already seen this mold. They released a figure called Detritus, which was a beige version of this mold. Unfortunately, I don't have that figure, and thank the Allspark I'd gotten rid of that figure because everybody had predicted we were going to see Hound in that mold. And it's the exact same Detritus figure. The weapons, the head sculpt, they did not change anything except the color and the paint apps. And over here, you will see an ancient figure. This is the Transformers Universe, or some people refer to it as the Classics, but it is technically the Transformers Universe Deluxe Class Hound. And for the longest time, this has been the Generations figure for the G1 style the Hound, and it still holds to this day. I mean, it's still a pretty good figure. It came with Ravage, one G1 Generation 1 old 80s cartoon. On one of the first few episodes, Hound had actually captured Ravage and put him in a cage, well, which Ravage had easily broken out of. The War for Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Ravage that came with the Netflix Soundwave, and you can clearly see it does scale properly with this new Legacy Hound. But if you ask me, I think the old Universe Ravage looks better with these generations. I had initially planned a script for this video because when I first took him out of packaging, I was going to say that out of these figures, you know, if we removed the G1 figure out of the picture and just focusing on the generations figures, I was about to say that he's probably the worst. And this one is still pretty good in terms of feel, plastic quality, aesthetic. It looks very, very premium. The old figure actually does a better job at representing G1 Hound. That was the script I had in mind, but now doing the review, this figure has really grown on me. I don't know how to explain it. At first glance, you look at it, it looks very pastel. It's like some green fondant that you would put on a cake. But the more you look at it, the more you see the cartoon colors and how accurate Hasbro has really tried to make this figure. I mean, they borrowed a lot of the parts from this mold. You can see the arms, the shoulders, the thighs, to a certain extent, some bits and pieces of the legs, the feet. They've been remolded. The chest obviously has been remolded. The head sculpt's been remolded. Weapons are new. It's basically the same. And I was about to say that, you know, don't go out rushing to get this figure because this one is still much better. But now, I hate to keep repeating myself, but he's really looking pretty good. This figure is looking to be the best Hound so far in the Generations line. So just like the Detritus, this figure still has the same weapons. He's got a shoulder-mounted cannon. He's got the missile that launches, pretend to launch. It doesn't really launch. You can, instructions tell you to put it this way. Use this as a rocket launcher, handheld rocket launcher if you want to. He comes with his hollow gun, which is the exact same gun we got from Detritus, albeit not as fancy looking because Detritus had it in gold or bronze. The head sculpt is absolutely the same. They didn't change anything. They just changed the colors. It does really look like G1 Hound, I have to admit. You've got the cartoon accurate decals right here. They're not actually decals, they're tempos. I like that they've made it as the asymmetric look, though, like how it was in the cartoon. Autobot logo here, and the star, army star right there. Arms are painted beautifully with the yellow highlights. I'm glad they didn't mess this up. Some imperfections here and there, but easily forgivable. I thought the pistachio or the light lime colored plastic would be cheap, but they're actually very, very solid. It's as solid as that one. So kudos to Hasbro for bringing in the quality plastic for this figure. Now this was the plastic I was really worried about, which was the torso and the legs, because I was sure they were going to be like really cheap plastic, but they're not. They're actually premium grade plastic, and I am just so grateful. And you can hear it. I don't even have to bring out the pencil just for you guys to appreciate it. Very, very solid plastic. The gray bits right here on the arms and the shoulders, they look absolutely cheap, but when you touch them, hold them, they're very solid, very premium feeling plastic. So truly, this figure is more than meets the eye. He looks cheap as heck, but when you feel him and you try to play around with this figure and mess with it, it feels very, very premium, very, very solid. Mold degradation, very solid. Since this is the second version of the mold technically, but basically like what, the fourth or fifth iteration of the mother mold, it's held up very nicely. Transformation. Set the weapons off to the side. Move the arms outward a little bit. Rotate the biceps. Unpeg the shoulders. This piece right here is going to flip over here. Attach the chest from the torso and fold it over the head and collapse the windshield and bonnet onto the chest. Open the inner leg and the foot. Join the pieces together. Rotate the arms. They're going to fold this way. The panels of the legs, they're going to slide down onto the sides of the figure to form the sides of the Jeep. Tab these panels here. Fold the toes, and then the other side of the feet, they are going to tab onto the forearms just to lock them in place. Essentially, that's the transformation, same as Detritus. And if you recall, in my review of Detritus, I had remarked that this alt mode doesn't entirely look like a Jeep Willys. I mean, it kind of does. There's a lot of aspects about it, but it kind of reminds me more of the VW Thing, especially this part of the diagonal hood. It kind of looks like the thing, but yeah, I think it works. It works as a G1 Hound. You can put the gun here, his other gun here, or if you want, you can peg it onto the side. I love that the rims are painted in this lime green paint, just like this part right here of the engine, like the winch. Here's the inspiration for these modern generations Hound figures. This was one of my first Transformers figures ever, but I'm pretty sure 5-6 years down the road, we're gonna see a retool of this generation's Hound to look more like this. Here is the Universe, or Henkei, or Classics Hound. This one actually looks more modern. Doesn't look anything like a Jeep Willys. It looks more of a modern Jeep or SUV. And then finally, let's bring in the Siege Hound. And this one is still cool. I mean, despite being a Cybertronian figure, he can pass off. I think this alt mode can pass off as an Earth-based alt mode, if you ask me. I mean, sort of like a Hummer convertible. I don't know, but yeah, one glance, here are the various alt modes of Hound. The only thing I don't have here is the Combiner Wars version. And so some final thoughts on this new Legacy United Autobots Unite 5-pack Hound. It is really amazing what a simple change of color, change of character can do to a mold. It's the exact same figure we got with Detritus, just colored differently. And I don't know how to explain it. Call it nostalgia, a bias towards Hound, but this figure really works for me. The colors are great. This is what was the intended purpose of this mold. And I get it why they were trying to be sneaky with Detritus releasing it first, because had they released Hound first, you'd never buy Detritus. So this Hound figure, when it was first revealed, I had my doubts. I really thought it wasn't going to be as great. I really thought it was going to look cheap, corny. After transforming it and playing with it for a while, this figure is looking to be the most definitive G1 styled Generations Hound that we've gotten from the Generations line. And I reckon a lot of collectors are going to be hunting this figure down. I love the colors, plastic quality's on point. This figure screams G1 Hound. The only slight nitpick I'm going to say is the alt mode. The alt mode could use a little bit more 80s or 70s style Jeep Willys, but the figure is going to get a 9.5 out of 10. Now let's talk about the 5-pack set in general. For the most part, when it was first revealed, I immediately thought of Hasbro being sneaky. They were trying to get you to repurchase 4 figures that you already have just to get the new figure. And yes, to a certain extent, that still holds true, but I get why they did this. They wanted to re-release the hard-to-find figures like Wheeljack, Sunstreaker, Jazz, and to a certain extent Trailbreaker, without re-releasing them as single packs. It would have been a pain to just track them and get them. So I kind of get why they did this. The popular characters with a new figure, they thought it was going to be an easy sell. Most collectors would go for it. The set is going for the price of about 4 Deluxes in today's prices. And with that, you get like 1 Deluxe for free. So I think that's a pretty good deal. And that's the most expensive retail price I've seen. The cheapest one would have you buying it for the price of about 3 Deluxe figures, and you get 5 Deluxe figures. So I think it's a pretty good deal. If you're not into the cartoon accuracy, you're already happy with the Studio Series 86 Jazz, your Earthrise, Cliffjumper, Wheeljack, and Sunstreaker, then I can imagine the hesitation of getting this figure. I can almost guarantee 110% this Hound figure is going to be re-released as a single figure. I'm calling it now. This Hound is going to get re-released as a single packed figure, but done in the G1 colors, the dark green with the silver and all that. It is in Hasbro's best interest to just re-release their figures, and this is a new figure, new character. They're gonna re-release that Hound in different colors, probably even better colors than this one. But for me, I'm glad I made this purchase. I'm happy with all 5 of these figures, in fact, and I cannot recommend it enough. For those of you who really skipped the set thinking that Hasbro was trying to cheat us, well, you're probably right, but I'd advise you give this set a second look. I mean, if you can get it a slightly lower than retail price, go for it. But as it is, where it stands, its retail price, you're already getting a good deal. It's like you're getting 1 or 2 figures free. So the entire set is going to get a 9.5 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this Transformers Legacy United Autobots Unite 5-pack Jazz, Sunstreaker, Trailbreaker, and Wheeljack, and particularly for this review, Hound. As always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.